Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, let us continue with the lesson, the enemy. So we just saw that Dr. Sado and his wife, they had brought the white man, a soldier, a prisoner of war inside their house and they were treating him. And Dr. Sado is in the process of conducting surgery for him and his wife Hannah is going to administer anesthesia for him, and for which Dr. Sado had given her instruction to soak the cotton and keep it near his nostril, and if he is going to feel a little bit suffocated or find difficulty in breathing, he told her to take away the cotton in which she has dipped chloroform so that he will feel comfortable once again to breathe. Let us continue. She crouched close to the sleeping face of the young American. It was a piteously thin face. Crouched. Sat close. It was a piteously thin face, she thought, and the lips were twisted. So she feels that he looked so pitiful, and because he had been there as a prisoner, he had suffered a lot in the prison, and now he was torn apart by the waves and the stones on the shore, and so she was able to see that he was feeling helpless and he was lying helpless there. She thought, and the lips were twisted. His lips were twisted. The reason is he was experiencing severe pain, though he is unconscious, though she is administering anesthesia for him, but still the pain, he was able to feel the pain because the doctor was in the process of performing a surgery. The man was suffering whether he knew it or not. Watching him, she wondered if the stories they heard sometimes of the sufferings of prisoners were true. So she was recalling, she had already heard about the soldiers, how they are treated in the prisoner if they are taken as prisoner of war, and she was just thinking over whether all those things are really true, whether he is also a person who had experienced such brutal treatment in the prison. They came like flickers of rumor, flickers brief thought, it came to her mind. She was just thinking whether it is something true, so all those things she was able to recall. They came like flickers of rumor, told by word of mouth and also contradicted, opposed. So some of them said, yes, the soldiers are treated very badly, and some of them said, no, they are not treated badly, they are just put behind the bars and they'll be there as prisoners of war permanently till the war get over. So such contradictory informations she was intimated by others. In the newspapers, the reports were always that wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly with cries of joy at their liberation. Liberation, freedom. In Japan, there was no freedom for the newspaper publishers to put everything as such seen, but always they have to publish something only in favor of the Japanese people, and it published that the Japanese people welcomed all the soldiers and whoever went, the army officials or the generals, whoever went, they were welcomed with happiness. This is what the newspaper always told, and it never told about the other American army and how many soldiers were taken and where are the soldiers, where are they put behind the bars and how are they treated. All these intimations were not given to the public. So some things which reached her ears, it was only through oral communication which she got from others. But sometimes she remembered such men as General Takima, who at home beat his wife cruelly, though no one mentioned it now that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria. So now she is thinking about the general of Japan, General Takima. He is of a nature to beat his, he is of a nature, he would beat his wife at home, such a cruel personality. When he is beating his dear wife itself at home, just imagine what would be the plight of the soldiers who are arrested, American soldiers who are arrested and kept in the prison. And there was also certain talk about his victorious battle of Manchuria. If a man like that could be so cruel to a woman in his power, would he not be cruel to one like this, for instance? So these are the thoughts that was going in her mind. When he is cruel to his wife, naturally he will be cruel to the soldiers as well who are arrested. She hoped anxiously that this young man had not been tortured. It was at this moment that she observed deep red scars on his neck, just under the ear. So she was thinking, hope this man is not tortured, and better this man was not tortured in the prison. And as she was thinking, she was able to see thin red color scars just under the neck, close to the ear. Those scars, she murmured, lifting her eyes to Sado, but he did not answer. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something hard, dangerously near the kidney. So she was just speaking out those scars, thinking that Dr. Sado would reciprocate. But Dr. Sado did not turn towards her, but he was busy searching for the bullet which is there inside the body of the soldier. And ultimately, when she was speaking, he was able to note that the tip of the knife which he was using to identify the bullet inside the body, it hit something hard, a metal, and that bullet was very close to the kidney also. All thought left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. So, all other thought that he was thinking about the soldier, the bullet, everything, and any other thought that was there in his mind, it all went away. Now, the purest pleasure of a doctor is the success in the surgery that he is performing. Now, that bullet he has identified where the bullet is. It was very close to the kidney. Now, he has to remove it from the body. So, he was so happy. There was so much of pleasure that he has identified the foreign object inside the body. He probed with his fingers delicately, familiar with every atom of his human body. Probed. Examined. Now he has to identify where it is, examine it properly. So he put his finger inside the body and he was examining it. Delicately, softly. Though he had the pleasure of conducting the surgery, but still he was not cruel, he was not harsh, but very softly he was searching for the foreign object which was there. Familiar with every atom of this human body. Familiar, he is much acquainted. Now, when you are much acquainted with the happenings, you will be confident in performing certain things. And Dr. Sado is an expert in the physiology of human body. So, he is an expert in that. So, he was much acquainted. So, very familiarly, he was just searching for the bullet that was there inside the body. Familiar with every atom of this body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen to that knowledge. Anatomy, the human study of human body. So his professor of anatomy used to say, You have to be thorough with every inch of the human body if you are going to perform a surgery. That is what his professor of anatomy had told him, and he had also seen to it that the students who are under him are thorough with the anatomy of the human body. Ignorance of the human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin. Ignorance, lack of knowledge. Cardinal, fundamental. So he'll say, suppose a surgeon has got lack of knowledge about the anatomy, it is the greatest sin a surgeon is performing, a surgeon is doing. That is what he used to say. Ignorance of the human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin, sirs. He had thundered in his classes year after year. Thundered, spoke loudly. See the involvement of this professor of anatomy. See the amount of knowledge he had imbibed in every student who was under his class. To operate without as complete knowledge of the body as if you had made it, anything less than that is a murder. So he says, if you don't have any knowledge about the human physiology, it means that it is equal to doing a murder. Suppose you perform a surgery, you are not thorough with the human anatomy, then if anything happens to the patient, it means you are conducting a murder, you are performing a murder. That is what he used to say. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend, Sado murmured. Then he was able to identify it. So earlier he thought that it was very close to the kidney. Now he was able to understand that the bullet was at the safest end and it has not damaged the kidney. So just imagine how thorough he is with the human anatomy. It's not quite at the kidney, my friend, Sado murmured. It was his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot himself in an operation. So see the involvement of the doctor. My friend, he always called his patients, and so now he did, forgetting that this was his enemy. So irony over here. His habit is to call any patient for whom he is performing surgery as my friend, and here he was calling his enemy also as my friend, forgetting about who was there in front because he was much involved in the surgery he was performing. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, a sharp cut. He just cannot put his finger and remove the bullet. He has to cut open a little bit to pull out the bullet. That is what he does. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, the bullet was out. The man quivered, but he was still unconscious. Quivered, trembled. No, that shock he experienced as the bullet was pulled out. Now, at times when you are in the garden, a small thorn would poke your finger if you are doing gardening, or your leg, and when you are trying to pull it out, you will experience the same tremble in your body because the foreign particle inside your body will have its own impact. Now it is a bullet, and which was deep inside, which had been pushed inside by the stones which were there on the shore, because he was very badly hurt exactly at the spot where even the bullet had struck him. So when it was deeply rooted and when he pulled it out, there was a shiver in the body of this particular soldier. The man quivered, but he was still unconscious. Even in his unconscious state, the body was trembling. Nevertheless, he muttered a few English words. At that time, he was also muttering a few English words. Guts, he muttered, choking. They got my guts. Sado, Hannah cried sharply. Hush, Sado said. Guts, intestines. So he says, even though he was unconscious, he was telling out, they got my guts, because he was having a pain that the bullet had come very close to the intestine. So at that time, Hannah got so tensed because he started speaking. So when the surgery is on, when the patient is going to speak, and suppose in case he is going to move, what will happen? So she got tensed. He just hushed her to be quiet. Hush, Sado said. The man sank again into silence, so profound that Sado took up his wrist, hating the touch of it. So suddenly he became so quiet. So Sado was a little bit worried to check whether the pulse was all right. So he just took his wrist to check for the pulse. Yes, there was still a pulse, so faint, so feeble, but enough if he wanted the man to live, to give hope. So the feel of the pulse was so feeble, but Dr. Sado feels that that is sufficient to make this man survive if he wants the man to live. Let's continue the lesson in the next class, children. To receive our lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you.